Hello and welcome to Anime Jail. My name is Jack.
And my name is Leon.
Hello, Leon. Thanks for joining me again, as you always do.
You're welcome.
I don't, I don't know what I would do if you didn't join me. I would just be talking by myself, which I don't know. Are there like a lot of podcasts with just like one person? I don't know. I haven't really
I
heard of them.
think so. Well, especially like studying podcasts where people just
I guess so.
explain concepts or like make short
Yeah.
talks. I don't think like podcasts like this one are good for like one man shows, Someone
Yeah.
talking about his own opinion for an hour is like kind of weird.
Yeah, true. Is like opinionated stuff like this. Yeah, definitely. Because like part of the reason why I look forward to this is like, or I feel like part of the reason why it's exciting is that like me and you are kind of waiting for the other's opinion while we watch it.
Mhm.
So it's like that's where a lot of the enjoyment comes for me. But I mean, I could do it solo, but I don't think I would do that.
Yeah, me neither.
Probably
I
wouldn't be
would
as
also be way too quick with the episode.
true. Like 15 minutes less.
Probably less because I'm
True, because
not a
it's like
talkative person,
yeah,
especially on my own.
because like I guess I mean our format is kind of like fluctuated here and there. Cough cough. Sasakoi was an exception, but I feel like for most of our like episodes we don't really talk about as much as the information of the show as much as like how we feel about it.
Yeah,
But like I said, it fluctuates depending on if we like really want to get into the plot and stuff.
yeah, that's true. And I think this episode will be quite regular
I think so.
uh, in that perspective.
Yeah. To give a short introduction, this episode, we'll be watching Train to the End of the World. Well, we actually watched it, but we're going to be talking about it. Um, in Japanese, it will be Shumatsu Torein wa doko e yuku, which we can get more into the title a bit later. It literally means something like, "Where does the world's end train go?" I like the fact that it's actually framed as a question, whereas the English title is just a statement. But yeah, so Train to the End of the World. It was a 2024 spring anime. I actually remember when this aired, and I remember like watching the first episode, and I was like, "This show's weird." And then here I am watching it fully.
Because of me.
Because of you who got attached to it back when it aired, which hey, that's cool.
Yeah. After
Um,
episode one, I was like, dude, that's so weird. I have to watch this.
that's Leon's standard for finishing a show. No, but yeah, so 2024 spring was a season in which it aired. Studio is EMT Squared, which by my research I could find no other like very popular show that they've done. I mean, there was like a handful of like slice of life series, but this is probably the most notable thing they've done, which is kind of surprising. Um, and as far as some minor staff, we have Tsutomu Mishizuma as director, who is known for Prison School, Shirobako, Squid Girl, and Another, which I found.
Yay.
Also, I didn't write this down, but this is notable for me. He directed Girls in Panzer, which
Ooh.
is pretty hype. Um, in other staff, we have Miho Tsujibayashi on music composition, which we'll talk about later. And Namo has provided the original character designs for the characters. But information out of the way, I guess we should get into what we like to get into first, which is what were your expectations? Well, I mean, okay, so to put something clearly, let's lay this out clearly. This was actually a rewatch for Leon, and it was
Yeah.
first watch for me. So take it away, Leon. What was your
So
expectations?
So back when it aired, my expectations were just a weird show with some fun elements, like let's see where it goes, kind of thing, you know?
Mm.
Because episode one doesn't give you much to expect from this show except for it being weird. So yeah, I this time I knew what I had to expect, and I just wanted to see if there's some details I missed in the first watch. And here and there were some, to spoil this.
Yeah.
There were some, and to be honest, more on the positive than on the negative side.
Mm.
But yeah, like the thing we all are waiting for. What were your expectations after you dropped it after one episode
Yeah.
last spring?
So I remember watching the first episode, and I had some vague like memories. I honestly forgot the whole 7G incident, but I remembered as soon as I started watching it. But my expectations were definitely a weird show because I remember that much, and like I remember you talking about that. And let's just say those expectations were met.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
It kind of reminds me of our conversation with Lane, which is like not to get too deep into it already, but there's not really anything else like it. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of aspects that are similar in other shows, but it's kind of its own thing,
Mhm.
for better or for worse. So we can talk about like how we feel about some of those interesting aspects as we get into the actual plot. But yeah, I guess let's just say I was expecting a weird show and I got it.
That's nice. And also to you, dear listeners, if
Dear
you have not listened to episode 4, Serial Experiments Lane, do it after you finish this one. So we get more clicks. No, just kidding. But it was
Give me views.
like Lane. Yeah, but still, clicks and views always matter. No, because it was a fun episode and it's probably as weird as the show itself. So
Dude.
give it a try, please.
It's so funny because I was just looking at my rating for Train to the End of the World, which by the way starts becoming a mouthful. Um I was doing some research, and normally it shows you like the shortened version of the name, but there's literally no shortened version. Like there's no easy way to say Train to the End of the World. Like that,
Yeah.
it's just a little. It's slightly not annoying, but it's just like a little like tiring. Like after saying it a while, like saying it a few times.
And then let's just go for train, and then
Train. Okay.
everyone knows what's meant. Like with lane, nobody wants to say seal
Lane
experiments
and
lane.
train.
We just say lane. So
True.
let's go with train for train to the end of the world.
Okay. Train. I like that.
You should
Yep.
train maybe a bit more.
Yeah.
Oh
Good
God,
one.
we should start getting into the story
Yeah.
because
We need to get into it.
if we wait longer, the puns will get worse.
Yeah, your puns will.
That's true.
All right. So I guess we can get into the basic like setup and episode summary of like the first episode, and just sort of like the intro to the plot, which my God, it is I mean, it's simple, but it's also a lot to explain. So
Yeah.
if you have being the two times watcher want to start explaining it, then I would appreciate it.
Okay, so where should I start?
7G incident.
Yeah, basically we got thrown into the entire story. I mean, we get to meet Yoka,
Yeah.
which is more or less a main character in this show,
Yeah.
or like not a main character, but like a key character for this show. And
Yes.
well, she's wandering through Ikebukuro, and well, suddenly she I think she went through like a train service or something. I forgot what she
Yeah.
went through, but she went through somewhere and was the 7,777th
Yeah,
customer or
yeah,
something.
right.
Something like that. Don't take the numbers too seriously.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then there appears this weird owl helicopter figure and flies her to the top of a building where she's forced
Yeah.
to press a button which says 7G.
I still laugh at this setup.
Yeah, it's such a weird setup, but I don't know, I like it, you know?
Dude, I
And
forgot about
well,
the helicopter. What's up with that? Like a helicopter grabbed her or something?
yeah,
Or
like
was that
this
just
this weird owl figure
Oh,
with the
yes, yes.
propeller head kind of thing. I don't even know how to describe this,
Yeah.
but you know it if you see when you see it.
Yeah, yeah. Bro, I tell you, not to interrupt you. I know you're still talking about the first episode, but like with this show, like things happen so fast that like I feel like I forget things like as soon as they happen because I'm just like there's so much going on that is so random. But
Yeah.
yes, please continue with the first episode.
So we're on the top of a building, looking at Yoka, how she's staring at the 7G button.
Yeah.
And at first we don't know what 7G is, and it's not even explained that good in the show. But basically, it's supposed to be like a future version of like 4G or 5G, which is like
Yeah. Yeah.
internet kind of thing. Like, not to get too deep into that, but
Yeah, no, there's
you
no
get the
logic.
gist.
Yeah.
So, because Japan was always late for the other Gs, but they were first for 7G, and
They're
that's
trying to pioneer 7G.
yeah, and that's why they forced a high school girl to press a button. To
Yeah, and they
to put it simply.
and they like frame it as like she like you said she was like the 700th like 777th customer, so like she like won like the lottery or something that's what they were making it seem like or something like that. But like you said, like ultimately there's not much logic that goes into this reasoning.
Yeah, and after she presses the button, the world gets fucked. Like, really fucked. Like Ikebukuro Ikebukuro turns every building turns in weird shapes and colors and everything.
Yeah.
And basically the entire nation gets flooded with 7G, or like the Tokyo surroundings. We don't get much
Yeah.
overview what is not hit by the 7G incident.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, it's called the 7G incident. And that's our introduction. That's our introduction.
Yeah, and okay. The reason why earlier I said it's simple yet complex is like it's not really complex, but it's like a lot of random information because like this setup basically carries you throughout the show, except for one other detail which I'll kind of go into now. Basically, for the rest of the first episode, it shows you. Honestly, it doesn't even show you what happens right after the 7G incident. It like that happens. She presses the button, and then it shows like what is it like 2 years later?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 2 years later.
Then it cuts to 2 years later, in a district, uh, a quite a ways outside of Tokyo called Agano.
Mm-hmm.
And basically in that town or like district, it's slightly like in the woods it seems. Basically in that area, humans are now turning into animals at age 21, and it shows you the cast of our show, which will be the main characters for like the rest of the show, which are, if I can remember, Akira, Nadeshiko, Reimi, and Shizuru.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
pretty sure I
correct.
got those names right. Yeah. They are all residents of Agano who are basically they were friends with Yoka, and
Yeah.
something happened that we don't know yet in the story from episode 1, and their friend Yoka has gone missing. And
Mhm.
basically, what happens in the rest of the first episode is the girls get some some intel from like a newspaper, right?
Yeah.
They get some intel from a newspaper that Yoka has either been spotted or they know that she might be in Ikebukuro, which is where we see her when she presses the 7G button at the beginning. So basically, honestly, the rest of the show and the rest of the episode is basically just like going off of this, and basically the plot is these girls are trying to get to Ikebukuro from Agano, which is a state which you can take by train. So basically, they commandeer a train. I don't even really know the specifics how. Like, there's some like train engineer guy who keeps showing up, who keeps saying "bobobo."
Yeah, he's called Zenjiro.
Okay, Denjiro. Okay, yeah, yeah. Um, and he somehow gets them a train, I believe. I don't really know.
He's
I don't remember.
he's basically he was a train
Train conductor. Yeah,
conductor.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
conductor. Yeah, I wasn't sure about the word.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Conductor.
basically, he was a train conductor, but then he got, I quote the subtitles, "wibble wobble surgery."
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. And afterwards, he just says "blah, blah, 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 blah,"
Yeah.
for his entire
So
life.
basically, to keep throwing more random information at you, for some reason, this man has periods of being normal, and he has periods where he turns into some kind of like like creature version of himself that says "bobobo" constantly. Um, and it seems like he has some kind of time limit where he can only last a certain amount of time until he starts saying "bobobo."
Yeah,
So that's just another random piece of information to
but
add.
to be honest, his nod to Bobo Bofom is like pretty ikemen, you know?
Yeah, true, true. Like when he switches to the normal guy, I'm like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
But the Bobobo version of him is kind of disturbing.
Well, he looks like an old
Like
man.
like 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 look at that guy.
Yeah, but that we'll get into later.
Yeah.
And also, I kind of want to do a like 20 questions with you for a
Okay.
character from this show later when we're
Okay. Yeah.
into
Yeah.
into the characters. So I have not told him this before, so he
Oh my
he
gosh!
knows it
Can you
now as
do a
well.
little surprise for me?
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little surprise
Okay.
for you to ask questions.
Okay. I'm down. I'm down.
Yeah, as you said, episode 1, we get to meet the main girls. We get to meet Zenjiro, and also we get to
Yeah.
meet Pochi-san, which
Pochi-san.
is a big, fluffy, cute dog.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Which
this dog.
which it's slightly confusing because later there's a character named Pochi.
Yeah,
So it's like, oh, okay, there's
but
two
we'll get
Pochi.
into that.
Yeah.
Why this makes sense.
Oh, okay, so it does make sense.
It does make sense.
Okay, then you can
And
please enlighten me.
I'll do that
At
when
that
we're
point.
there.
Yeah.
So, episode 1 ends. We start driving with the girls.
Yeah.
And well, episode 2 arrives pretty
Um,
quickly.
before you
Yeah.
get in episode 2, I want to just kind of give a short uh description of the main girls' like personalities, like who they are.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
Because I feel like for this show, that's really important because first thing I'll say off the bat is these characters, like I'd say a very strong point of the show is the writing, and like how the girls talk to each other. They really do feel like friends.
Yeah.
And we'll get into voice acting and writing later, but just for now, you have Shizuru, who's kind of like the leader.
Mhm.
Side note, thank God this is Chika Anzai because I want her to be the leader. Um, and she's kind of like the grounded character, I would say. Like she's just kind of normal. Like not really. I'd say she's driven. She's passionate about finding her friend. And she's uh she, she's a good leader.
Mhm.
And then
For the
you
most
have
part.
yeah, true, true. Um, then you have Akira, who is
Mhm.
a um I'd say she's kind of like she's like a smart girl, but she's kind of she likes to like keep to herself a bit. Um,
Yeah.
unless she's fighting with Naomi, because they have personalities that are kind of uh conflicting. So like they get into arguments a lot, but but they're still like good friends and stuff. Um, so yeah, she's kind of like the keep to yourself kind of girl, kind of like not like a know-it-all, but just kind of like the smart girl, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, then you have Reimi, who I would say is like the gyaru. Like uh she's kind of like the girl who's like wearing a lot of makeup and like she's kind of like the almost like the popular girl type,
Mhm.
but she's not like rude, but she's basically just like that kind of a archetype. Um
Yeah, pretty active, pretty extroverted,
yeah, pretty
I'd say.
extroverted. Yeah. And then you have lastly Nadeshko, who's kind of like
Mhm.
the almost like the caretaker. Like
Yeah.
she kind of acts like the mom a lot of the times and is like telling people to like stop fighting and stuff.
So in an
I,
RPG, she would be the healer.
yes, yes. And if she was in Honkai, she would be a healer.
She would be Natasha. I tell
Oh,
you.
okay, okay. You'll have to show me that character later. But yes. So like I would call her the healer of the party.
Episode 2, we start going with the train, and the
Yep.
girls figure out Chizuru has no, not Chizuru. Shizuru has
Izuru, yes.
no plan,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
no plan at all. No, not enough food, no money, no nothing.
Yeah, she literally realizes at like after she's gone for like a few hours that she didn't bring anything, like no other clothes. She has some money, I believe, but I don't even think it matters in the show. Like they don't even stop and buy anything.
They also can't buy anything
Yeah,
because
there's no shops.
there's no shops, but they have bitter melon. That
Yeah, perfect.
and well, suddenly the water level starts rising without a way back. They have to travel and have to continue. So they get to Higashi Agano, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
Higashi Yagano.
Higashi
Yeah,
Agano.
literally East Agano.
Oh, dude, I missed the swan guy, right?
Yeah, yeah. He's introduced. Yeah, in episode 2.
Okay, so my bad. In episode 2, we meet. I call him the swan guy. I don't
Yeah,
think he has a name, but like he's a man riding in a swan boat.
oh, dude, his name is Swan Sennin, which Sennin means like a hermit.
Oh yeah,
That's funny.
yeah, which is a weird character, and
Yeah,
in like they trade like some stuff, some food for a map,
yeah, map. That's right.
and he gives them a hand drawn map.
They keep going through episode 2, and then at the end of episode 3, they reach Higashi Agano, which episode 2 ends, and they get to this stop, um, and they notice that everyone at this area has mushrooms growing out of their head. And then the episode ends, and it's like, okay, what the fuck? Um, and then episode 3 picks up at Higashi Agano where the girls like stay for a bit. Um, and at first they're kind of like, oh, these people are really nice. They're like welcoming us into their village and stuff. And it's at this point where you get the idea, or at least I did, that like each stop, like each area that they go to is gonna have some gimmick. Like some like group of people like are like doing this, or some people like look like this. And so basically, this is the first like new area, I guess, if you're in like a video game.
Yeah. So during that time, have you already had an idea about the map?
Like the map that the Swan guy gave him.
Yeah.
Not to my knowledge. Why?
Well, when I watched it last spring, I thought like, okay, this map looks like every stop has something to do with that, and then I figured there's a mushroom, and then we had the mushroom, so I thought like, oh, okay.
Ah, that's interesting because
But
I
that's
didn't.
just because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
looked at the map so much because I was like, dude, what the hell is this?
yeah. I think you were paying more attention to it because I didn't even look at the map when I was watching it, so I was like I didn't get that, but that makes sense.
Okay, so episode 3. I'm sorry. Continue, please.
No, you're good. You're good. Um, so episode 3, um, basically they're at Higashiyagano. These people seem really nice, but then they start to like act kind of weird, and the only person who picks up on this is Akira. The other girls are like, oh yeah, they're really nice. Like they're going to the onsen. They're like doing all this stuff. And then basically towards the end of the episode, the all of the girls except for Akira begin growing mushrooms on their head, and they start to feel kind of tired and kind of like run down, and they don't really want to do much. Um, and it's like the classic setup where the one friend, like she's the only one who realizes something's wrong, and then she has to like help them. Um,
Hmm.
and please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to remember, but basically, I think what happens is the people of that village, like they either found a mushroom or they were offered a mushroom, and it will kill them in 2 years or something.
Yeah, something like that. I don't
But
remember the
basically,
specifics.
yeah. But basically, like the reason why they've done this is that it either makes them feel good or makes them like forget their worries, and so the villagers basically want to live this way for 2 years and then just like not feel sad about life because currently like living in this area is just kind of like terrible because of the 7G incident.
Hmm.
So and that's why the villagers have these mushrooms or something. And so they want to convert other people and like give them the mushrooms too. But basically, Akira is like, no, we're not doing that. She pulls the mushrooms off of her friends, and then uh, also the people hate the bitter gourd. I think.
Yeah, the
Do you
bitter
remember
melon.
why?
No, not really.
Yeah, for some reason they just like hate it. Like they like brought the bitter gourd out or something like that, and
How do
one
you
of
call
the
it? Bitter what?
uh well, I, I may be saying it wrong. Like, what did you call it?
Like in my subtitles, okay? In my
Yeah,
subtitles
yeah.
was written bitter melon.
Bitter melon. Okay, so I was saying bitter gourd. I'm not sure if it's the same thing.
I'm not sure
Uh,
what is a gourd.
so a gourd is kind of like a melon like this,
Hmm.
but I'm not sure if it means the same thing. But that's what I was thinking.
Bitter
Bitter melon.
melon.
Okay, it looks a bit
No, it's
different
something
actually.
different, and it's called bitter melon.
Okay, so it's bitter melon. Okay.
And for
Um,
some reason, this fruit has played such a big role in this show.
yeah, yeah, for real. But yeah, you can help me wrap up the episode, but I'm pretty sure she just pulls off the mushrooms from their friends' heads and then tells the villagers, "Yeah, we're not doing that," and then they leave. I think.
Yeah, well, I wanted to convert them, but they fought,
Yeah,
right?
they fought. Yeah,
They fought with bitter melons
yeah.
against the villagers,
What
and in
a
the
epic
end,
way to fight.
they traded some food and continued their journey. And
Yeah.
at that point, like in my first watch, I thought, okay, this will be multiple seasons, and every episode will be one stop.
What do you mean, like
So
multiple seasons?
like we have 12 episodes for this season,
Yeah.
and we have 40 stops, like around 40. I don't
Yeah.
remember the
Yeah. I think
exact.
it's 30.
So every episode will be one stop, so we need multiple seasons for
I
this
see. So that was your
to
pacing,
finish. That's what I thought when watching it for the first time.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Especially since I'd say the beginning of the show starts pretty, well, I don't know about slow paced, but it does take quite a while in Higashi Agano because like they spend basically all of episode 3 there.
Yeah.
But they don't spend every episode only in one area most of the times. Like they'll just kind of move on from places. But yeah, that makes sense on a first watch from here to think that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they leave Higashi Agano at the beginning or at the end of episode 3, and that's when you find that there is a mushroom growing on Akira, but it's like it's like she's growing a tail,
Yeah.
and instead of the mushroom growing out of her head. Let's just use that structure as kind of an example, and just kind of say that that kind of thing happens for most of the episodes. Like basically, again, I'll go back to what I said before. It's a simple yet complex plot where like a ton of random things are happening, and like it seems complex, but basically it's just like the entire show is them going from Agano to Ikebukuro and like stopping at all these places, and like random stuff happens like that.
Yeah.
So basically
That's
to kind of
it.
summarize it.
Yeah, and in the meantime, we get some backstories on different characters.
Yeah,
Well, I wouldn't say we get a lot of development in the characters. Well, a
not
bit, but
really.
not much. But we
I
get to
think
know the characters.
yeah. I think the only other notable things in the plot for me was Reimi and Akira's backstory, where Reimi saves Akira by feeding her paper because Akira told Reimi to eat a textbook when she was younger because she was stupid.
Yeah,
And
she was stupid and wanted to learn
yeah,
fast. And
and so
Akira
Akira
just
was
said,
like,
"Okay, then put the paper between two
yeah.
sandwiches and eat it."
And then that's how like Reimi snaps Akira out of her like her mushroom thing, I think.
Yeah, and well, a little down the line, we get to know like the Yoga Shizuru backstory,
Yeah, yeah.
and well, we found a doctor, and we found zombies and a zombie
Yay.
queen, and then somehow we landed in a TV series world
Yeah,
kind of
dude,
thing
I'm telling you.
with
There's just too
some
much shit.
like Madoka Magica
Yeah,
feeling.
yes. There's too much random shit in this show to talk about.
And then the most random shit I really want to talk about is one stop before Ikebukuro, which is the artists thing.
Yes,
Like the
dude.
artists box. This was so hilarious.
That was really funny. Um, basically they get to a like a little town or something. It was like he said, it was the stop before Ikebukuro, and basically
Yeah.
there are these mangaka who I believe were hired by the villain who started the 7G incident to block the girls from getting to Ikebukuro. Um, and basically like their powers are like they can like turn the girls into a different art style via the manga.
Yeah. And also
But yeah,
change their character and way of speaking. I mean, we met Shizuru's father shortly
yeah.
before, and he continued saying like Kirun at the end of the
Yeah.
sentence to sound cute, which is not a good thing at his age. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that
So
was a really funny segment. Um, it felt kind of like breaking the fourth wall because it felt like, you know, like artists who are drawing are also drawing about artists, and I
yeah,
think that's just funny.
yeah. And then in episode 11, we finally get to the last stop to
Yeah,
Ikebukuro, where we meet Pochi number 2.
Second Pochi,
Yeah.
who was, I believe, hired by the main villain to protect Yoka, who was the one who started the 7G incident by pressing the button. Um, and Pochi later turns on the villain because he's like, I'm gonna I'm gonna hurt Yoka or something.
Yeah, so he's protecting Yoka because the main villain called Poison Pontaro
Yeah.
told him to protect Yoka at all costs. And like in episode 12, he figured that Pontaro is the bad guy and well turned on him. So backstory to Pochi number 2. So we have Pochi-san, which is the dog,
Yeah.
and this dog belonged to Yoka.
Mm.
So this was her dog, and we have a little backstory in I think episode 11 where she tells the man, the bodyguard, that she once had a dog called Pochi-san, or like
Mm.
Pochi, and then he says, "Okay, you can call me Pochi now because well, the dog is not there."
Yeah.
And that's why he always looks at the dog and is like, "Oh, I was named after you," you know, like
I see. I did not pick up on that on my first watch, but that makes sense.
yeah, me neither. I figured it out now, the Pochi Pochi kind of thing.
I like honestly, I would say the ending of the show, like episode 11 and 12, are pretty um not really anticlimactic, but just kind of like suddenly ending, and it kind of just ends in a simple way. Like Pontaro is like, well, if everything's gonna end, then I'm just gonna kill Yoka. And Pochi's like, no, I'm gonna save her. And then he throws. I think he just throws Pontaro off the train
Yeah,
or something.
in the dimensional world, kind of on a
Yeah.
like
And then the girls just like they kind of have a reconciliation, and then they just kind of go back home after they fix the 7G incident or something.
yeah. And
And yep.
regarding that, I I think the ending was so well timed there. I mean, they get into the train, they drive home, and then we get this first person view, like out of the train into the ending. You know, like on the rails.
Yeah, dude. Um, I will say if we're gonna get into this, I thought the ending was slightly just like I'd say predictable overall.
Mhm.
But I have to say that I really liked this last scene, and especially the final line, which was given by Chika Anzai as Shizuru. And basically, to add like a plot point, um, they at some point Shizuru names the train Apogee. Um,
Yeah.
which I thought was a point that I missed. I was like, okay, so I guess I missed why they called it apogee. But in the last line, she explains why she calls it that, which I think was a really nice line. And she says something like the other girls are like, oh yeah, why did you name it uh, apogee? And she basically says how like uh, apogee is basically what you call the the point when I believe the Earth and the Sun are the farthest away.
Mhm.
And so like the only place to go from there is closer to the sun.
Yeah.
And that's the final line. And I was like, dude, that's such a good line. And
Yeah, but
I think it, yeah.
like the big question for me was like, is is this coming closer meant like coming closer to Yoka or coming closer to home?
Mm. I um I would say it's probably up to interpretation. I think it
Mhm.
probably represents both. Because uh like like a lot of the show is about getting to a destination.
Yeah.
I.e. like getting back to Yoka versus like getting home as well afterward. Um, and and I think that is supposed to represent both of those things. But yeah, I think like as far as like a show about traveling from point A to point B, that was a really like nice line to kind of like tie that together.
Mhm.
And of course, it was given by Chika Anzai, so
Of course, it had
I
to be Chika
definitely
Anzai.
I definitely enjoy that. But overall, yeah, I would say if I can talk a little, I know we've kind of gone slightly longer on this, but I would say as a story, it's kind of lacking, but I think that's not really what it's trying to do. I think it's a very simple story about friends trying to go get another friend back, which is a good
Mhm.
setup, and it kind of keeps the show grounded from the like all the random aspects, because you're always thinking, okay, they're trying to get to their friend, like no matter what happens. Um, and so I think that kind of keeps it within boundaries. And I also think it was just a simple ending, which is not bad, but it's just not like too crazy. But this show really did feel like with the 7G incident, it really felt like an excuse for the animators and writers to just write like a ton of crazy stuff that they wanted to write. Like it seems like
Yeah.
they just let all of their ideas come out, which is good and bad, I would say. But I don't know, like what did you kind of think about the story and sort of like all that, like once you finish it for a first or like second time?
So personally, I'm a big fan of adventures or like adventure
Okay.
anime, which is why this show, like on the first watch, immediately got me because
Yeah.
like we're traveling by train, but where I like
Right.
trains. Trains are cool. Okay.
He's a train otaku.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but I like trains. Okay.
Yeah, guys, chill. It's not that much.
And basically, the idea of going through different stops from Agano to Ikebukuro by train and looking and exploring everything. I just liked the idea at first, okay?
Mm.
And while it's not the best anime I've seen, and also I can spoil this, not 100 out of 100 for me,
I mean, yeah, I kind of would hope not. I mean, not to say it's that bad, but still.
but it's lacking in
Yeah,
various points, but not a lot. But it's still lacking, so it won't be 100. Just
yeah,
to take that. But for me, it's still like a feel good show.
yeah.
It's something to watch when I feel down or when I just want to chill because watching these friends traveling and exploring, getting through ups and downs is just fun for me
Mm,
personally.
mm.
Yeah,
Yeah. If you're done, I'll add to that. But if you have something else to say,
no, just go ahead.
yeah. I think you kind of nailed it on the head with what this show is trying to be. And I think it is one reason why I did enjoy it to the level that I did, and that is the characters. Um, like I said before, these girls like really do feel like friends, like with the writing and the voice acting. Um, and I would say if this show had bad characters, it would be very terrible.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
because it would just be impossible to follow. It would not be funny. It would just be like a bunch of random stuff. But because you have these characters to ground us and to like keep us laughing and like just like to like have these friends who are just fun to watch, uh, that was definitely like a part of the show that I definitely enjoyed a lot. Um, and I think it's ultimately about that because, like I said, there's there's really ultimately just a simple plot of their friend Yoka gets lost. These friends are going through all these stops to go find her, and that's and
Yeah.
that that's basically what the show is about, like as a whole, which I
So
think is really simple.
yeah, I think I thought of a kind of weird comparison, but it feels like craziness wise and story wise, like a better structured and also with better characters version of Shika no Kono Kono Santan. I don't know if you know where I'm going with this, but it just feels like it, like it's similarly crazy in a different way, but has like a better structure.
I definitely know what you mean, because while I don't think Train to the End of the World is a slapstick comedy,
Yeah.
I do think it is trying to do a lot of random as part of its joke, or like
Mhm.
as part of its like element, like just like a lot of like random stuff, which like a slapstick comedy such as Shikanoko is doing. Um, and I think you're right, and I think the key element there is that I didn't think the characters in Shikanoko were that good.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so like I feel like it was just like you said, like it was better structured. It was more interesting to watch. Um and yeah, I'd say like all in all, if you're looking for like a lot of random and a lot of cool like animation moments that allow like ideas to like happen, then I would definitely recommend Train to the Underworld and not Shikanoko.
Yeah.
uh yeah, so I definitely would agree with that.
Well, then, if you have nothing to add, I'd go into like the characters. Well, we
Yep.
have talked about the characters,
True.
but we're still missing a 20 questions
Oh yeah, you want to do
without
that.
exactly 20 questions. But you ask questions, I say yes or no, and you have to guess who I am,
Who you are.
like which
Oh,
character
okay.
from the show.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So you would you like me to start?
Yeah. Was this the
Okay.
first question?
I guess so. um I don't know if this is cheating, but can I say, are you one of the main characters?
No, I'm not. As long
Okay.
as it's a yes or no question, I'm fine with
Okay.
that.
Okay, you're not. Are you a male character?
No.
Are you a okay, so I guess you're a female character, so I can say that. Are you a do you have red hair?
No.
Okay. Oh, do you have blonde hair?
Yes.
Are you the zombie girl?
Yes, I am the zombie
Okay.
queen.
Okay. Mito Kuroki.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, I got it. Yes.
So, Mito Kuroki, which is also a pretty fun character we didn't mention in the story.
I
I
would
mean, we
yeah, like
mentioned
I would
the
agree. Yeah.
zombies.
I think she was a really fun addition.
She was a fun addition to the zombies. We also found out that zombies are pretty etchy, like
Yes,
etsy,
dude. Oh my God.
and they explode when they see like female underwear,
Yeah.
which is like pretty crazy,
I'm
but
telling
like a
you,
fun
dude.
addition. But like the zombies still see her as her queen even after the 7G incident.
Yeah.
So they want to keep her as their leader because she gives them a reason to live.
It's kind of like the idol and like the like the
Yeah,
fans
true.
type vibe. Yeah. But yeah, that dude, that's just one example of something so like weird and fucked up. But it's just like there's so many things like that in this show that are just like sprinkled in.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, I think with that we
I'd
could
say
go.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I think she was my favorite character of the non-main characters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get that. Mine too, probably. I don't know if I'm missing someone. I mean, Zenjiro was also pretty cool,
Yeah.
but
But I guess if you want to go into like characters, we can maybe talk about voice acting / characters and like how you felt about them.
yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about the characters,
True.
and I think this will be a longer episode.
Yeah, I've kind of noticed that. Yeah, because when did we start? Like 1:30?
Let me look. One sec. Yeah, but I think we should or could get into the voice actors.
Yeah, I think so too, because that can kind of be like characters as well.
So we have been recording for. Oh, of course it's lagging now. Fuck
Oh
me,
shit.
dude. So for an hour.
An hour. Okay.
Okay, that's reasonable. That's okay.
We still have some things to get into, but I don't have a whole lot of opinions on it, so it'll probably go fast.
Yeah,
But
let's go.
the main thing, I guess, to talk about, which I do have opinions on, is the voice acting slash characters. And I feel like I had something I was about to branch off into, but now all I can think about is Chika Anzai because she's on screen.
then
Oh
talk
yes,
about Chika Anzai.
I yeah okay. I'll bring this up once we get to the end of the characters, but as far as characters and voice actors, yeah. I actually I think I want to ask you first before we get into it because I think it'll give it away. Um I want you to guess my favorite character.
Your
And
favorite character.
if you want to, I can guess yours.
I mean, sure, let's go for it. But like, I'm tempted to say Shizuru because Chika Anzai.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, I feel it's too easy for you to ask me this. Like, it's
Yeah, yeah.
so I'll
Hey,
go
that's why I
with
wanted to ask you because I had like
I'll
opinions about it.
I'll go with Reimi
Okay, that
because
was a
she
good
could be like
guess.
your type, like
Yeah,
from character perspective.
that was a good guess. I actually like Naomi a lot. Probably second. Uh, but like a surprise for me was Akira. My
Akira, okay.
yeah, she actually ended up being my favorite.
Ooh.
Um, and I'll get into why I'll say in a second. But just quickly, I'm gonna guess your favorite character was Nadeshiko.
No.
No?
And it's also not close. I'm sorry.
Oh shit. Okay,
Because in this show, I'm not the mainstream person.
not the mainstream person. Which means like there's a certain character you like who's not like a main character.
Yeah.
Is it Kuroki?
No.
Ooh. Favorite character from this show? Is it one of the these guys?
No, 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 no. Not that side character.
Not
They
a
have a they
not a
have
radish?
a not a radish. They have a role. This person is not often in this show. I think we see him like 3 or 4 times.
Is it Nekoni?
No, but he's also pretty cool.
He is. Don't tell me it's Swan.
It is the Swan
Oh
guy.
no way.
Dude, I love the Swan guy on the first view.
Why?
I still love him because he's so weird. He just appears, talks some weird stuff, and then disappears and comes like from a different direction from where he wanted to go. Like
I will
I
say
feel like
I
I
do
feel
like
like
this
I
guy a
can't identify with him
lot. Yeah.
as a person. I feel like I can't identify with him.
That hey, I respect that. Shout out to Swan.
Shout out to Swan, and to his voice actor, who I know nothing about.
True. His voice actor was doing good work. Um, Speaking of voice acting, I wanted to get into quickly just some of the characters we've talked about a lot. But the voice actress for Akira really shocked me. She was giving some really crazy performances, and I started to notice this during the episode in episode uh, I believe it's 3 when they get to Higashi Agano, right?
Mhm.
Um, when Akira is the only character who like realizes that the mushrooms are like affecting them, she's like going crazy and like screaming and stuff, and
Mhm.
her voice actor is going crazy.
Oh
And I
yeah,
was
you're
like,
into screaming, right?
well, Yeah, I mean, you don't have to tell everyone. But yeah, dude, like I was just really surprised at her performance during those moments because I like Akita's like shit was like really like it was selling me. Um, and also after that, when Akita has the mushroom growing out of her ass, like she's acting all like different, and her voice actor is like doing crazy stuff to like show that. Um, and
Is
so
there
yeah,
another role she's done?
so the only thing I know that Hina Kino, her name is, has done is in I know that she's Emu from Project Sekai, and I also
Hmm.
know she is um I believe her name is Hanako from Asobi Asobase.
Hmm.
Let me know if you recognize any, but I'm trying to find that. Looks like she's
Doesn't
in
look like it.
JoJo. Oh, she's in okay, she's that girl. Yeah, she's in Asobi Asobase.
Yeah, well, I don't know
Yes,
characters.
here it is. Hanako Honda, which is the only other show I've seen her from. It says she's a side character in Kaguya. I don't know this girl, but Miki.
Yeah, not a big
Um,
character.
but yeah, like I was really like it was really nice to hear her voice again. She was doing a really good job. Um, and it ended up helping her become my favorite, which is saying something in a cast with Chika Anzai. But
Yeah,
but I think with her case, I think I've already said everything that I need to say about her. I think she's my personal favorite voice actress. But I think that the character of Shizuru just wasn't very complex and didn't really offer a lot for Chika Anzai to like voice act with, which I
yeah,
think is
sure.
it's not her fault. It was just the fact that the character was just a little simple. Um,
Too
but
simple for the queen.
yeah, I'm telling you, they need to write better characters for her. But um, honestly, no complaints in the voice acting. I think it was all great. Um,
Yeah,
we hear
that's true. I agree.
Daisuke Namikawa, who voices the
Hmm.
main villain, who I know as Kazehaya from Kimi ni Todoke.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Hmm.
he's amazing. Um, there's there's a lot of other small ones. Also, I noticed Pochi, not the dog, but the bodyguard, is Kazuya Nakai, who is Zoro from One Piece. Who like his voice is immediately like recognizable, and I was like, dude, he's doing such a small role. Like he's just this one minor like bodyguard.
Yeah, but still a good role.
Oh yeah,
Do
yeah,
we
true, and he's
do
doing an
we
amazing job.
know roles from the Swan guy's voice? I'm curious.
Oh, actually, I think I recognize his voice. Hold on, where is he? Here. So I don't recognize his face, but I know he's done some stuff. Man, he plays all these fucked up looking guys.
What's going on with them?
Nothing I've seen, but I swear I recognize. Oh, okay, he's a minor character in. Oh, geez, he's a minor character in Tanya.
Tanya.
Minor character in Konosuba. Um, yeah, I mean, I, I'm, I, I'm, I'm seeing either characters I don't recognize or minor characters.
Yeah, I agree. Like there's no big role,
But
but
I thought,
a
yeah,
few minor roles in big shows.
yeah, definitely. Dang, he goes back to like 2000s, 1999, not 1998. This guy's got a career. Oh, Conan, I believe I see.
Yeah, he like started voice acting before he was born.
Jesus Christ, 1990. We're going to the 80s. He's in the 80s.
Dude, how old is this guy?
87, 85. Don't tell me 70s. Okay,
No,
81 is his
81.
first role. Jesus.
Dude, how old is he?
Well, at least like 50s. Has to be 65.
Okay, this explains something.
Yeah.
So do we have some more voice actors we want to talk about, or do we want to get into the music or animation?
I think I've said my piece on voice acting. I had no complaints. If you have something else to add, please do.
No, like I enjoyed the voice acting. I love the cast. even though I don't know other roles
Oh
from
yeah.
some characters. But they still did a good job in this show.
Yeah,
So
I totally agree.
I'd go on animations
Sounds
next
good.
before music, because there's one thing I want to mention,
Okay.
and it's these weird 3D scenes. Like sometimes you just had these
Yeah.
3D scenes which were so weird looking, but somehow good again, you know, like
Yeah.
also in the opening, which we'll talk
Yeah.
after.
Yeah. Definitely I think animation slash visuals have a place in conversation because like this show is obviously like I was trying to say this earlier, but this show is trying to be more creative visually than interesting as a story.
Yeah.
And I think it's using a like a simple story to try to tell a lot of visually creative ideas, which I would say it does.
Mhm.
But yeah, like you said, it's got like these weird like CG moments. Something I thought was cool that was a minor detail was it shows when Shizuru and characters start driving the train. It like it shows their hands on the controls, which are in like 3D,
Yeah.
and it's kind of cool to see like how the train like starts and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
I thought that was pretty cool as far as like visuals. But I mean, honestly, I don't really have much to say about it.
Yeah, me
Um,
neither. That's the only thing I wanted to mention before we go
yeah,
to the music.
yeah,
And also, I have a quote from this show.
okay,
I don't know if you'll recognize it. I go from the subtitles, not from the Japanese version.
okay.
And it says, "People change, as does the world. Do you know of anything that always stays the same?"
Mm,
Which is a pretty, I'd go with like deep quote.
yeah, yeah, I like that. Do you remember who says it?
The Swan guy.
Oh my God, that's why you like him.
Well, not just because of that, but this is a good quote.
No, dude, it was just because of that quote.
Just because of that quote. So if you see me, just say that quote, and I know you're a good person. No, just kidding. I mean, we're in jail here, so
True, you're locked in.
you're locked in. What should I say?
But would you like to move on to music?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go into
Yeah,
the music. I'll I'll start with the OST.
please do.
The OST was perfect. Like I really liked the music, loved the music in this show.
Yeah.
Especially
Mhm.
at the end of every episode, you had this kind of theme for them, like continuing their journey.
Yeah, it was kind of like a pumped up track, right? It was kind of like a doom
Yeah,
doom doom. Yeah.
which was pretty cool. Like pretty cool. And then of course we had the ending, Eureka by Rokute Nashi.
Yeah, it was like the like that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
this was a good interpretation, I'd say.
Yeah, no, I didn't know the words. I was like, shit, I'm gonna start singing this, but I don't know the words.
Yeah,
Um,
and I don't know if you know, because I don't know how much you looked into that,
mhm.
but this is the same singer group who did Arubireo.
Oh my God. I was just thinking of that because I know you showed me Arubideo?
Yeah, Albireo.
Arubideo. And that song reminds me of it. Um, and I honestly forgot that what is the ending called again of the show?
Eureka.
I forgot that Eureka was the ending of this because I remember like you just showed me that song uh
Yeah.
and and I forgot that it was from this, but yeah, dude, that makes total sense.
So Rokutanashi, good music.
Okutanashi. Yep.
If you're into listening to Japanese music, Rokutanashi is a good good choice there. And I think like recently they had their first one-man live.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think I've seen it on
Interesting.
Twitter or like X. We want to be modern here.
Interesting. But yes, I would agree. I would definitely recommend them. I don't know much else by them, but definitely think this is a show, I guess, to go into the opening. This is a show where I like the ending more than the opening.
Really? Well, I
I
can
think
see
so.
that, but still, the opening is a banger as well.
The
It's kind of
opening?
weird, yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, you basically have two songs in one.
Yes, 100%. I would say this is one of the strangest openings I've heard. Um, and it feels like it's really trying to convey the vibe of the show, which I will credit the song for. Like first of all, just to say, I don't think it's a bad song. I think the ending just has a really good band and song on it.
Yeah,
But I think the opening overall is really trying to go for that vibe of the show, which is like not only adventure but also
being
strange.
weird.
Yes, it's going for the strange vibe. And I think it fits for that. I think it kind of loses me as a song on the whole because it kind of is just like very experimental, I guess. Which I'm fine with, but it's just kind of like the ending is just an absolute banger.
Yeah, yeah,
But
I
yeah,
get
how did
that.
you
But
feel about the opening?
the opening gives me mixed feelings. Okay, so I like the song itself. I like how it fits. As you know, I like openings that fit the show,
Oh yeah,
and it does. It really does.
yeah, true. It does.
And
It does.
if you don't know which song we're talking about, it's called Gatang Kotong,
Yeah.
which is
Katang
also
kodong, katang
Gatang
kodong.
Kotong Susu Jane,
Yeah, shoo shoo
Susu Jane,
Jay.
which is a pretty funny line.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's supposed to sound like the train.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Is it going for like choo choo train?
Yeah,
Or is it
like after
shoe?
it's shoe, but like I think I could imagine it being the sound,
Yeah, me too. Me too.
but also this Gatang Kotong, which could be like
Katang
the
kodong.
rattling of the cattle or
Yeah, like the
something like
tuku tuku tuku.
yeah, like Gatang Kotong, Gatang Kotong, a few,
Akodong.
a
Like
few.
the onomatope.
Yeah. So it could be. I don't know. Have you looked it up in Zisha?
No, but I bet it would come up. Let's see. Literally, clickety clack. Interesting. I like that. Totally fits a
Yeah.
train.
And then the visuals in this opening were also pretty funny,
Yeah, true.
where they're all sitting in the train and just driving
And just like
into
doing
the
random stuff.
unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It fits the show. Not the best opening I've seen, not the worst. Um, the only thing I'll say about the OST is that I don't really remember it a lot of the time, which typically means that it's just not too good, not too bad. Like it's just kind of like average for me. Well then, um, I guess if you're ready, I will ask you humbly, Leon, on a scale of 0 to 100 in steps of 5, what do you bestow upon Train to the End of the World?
So, as we said, it's a rewatch for me. I've had an opinion before this, and it went up after seeing it a second time.
Okay.
Also, one thing I wanted to mention is that I loved how on every end of the episode was showing how many stations were left. It's a
Yeah.
minor detail, but that was a like cool detail for me.
Mm.
With a good voice cast, good music, good vibes, and also this is just completely my type of show. So I gave it a 75.
Mm.
I think
Okay.
nothing surprising here. So
Yeah. So just a straight up good. Or
a
like or
straight
like
up
like a straight
good.
up like you like it type.
Yeah, definitely would recommend.
Okay.
So, back.
Yep.
On a scale from 0 to 100, in steps of 5, what is your rating?
I'm just gonna say it. I'm feeling after this conversation, I think I'm going a straight up 70.
Okay.
Because I'd say I overall like it more than anything, but there were moments that were either slightly boring or slightly just like not my favorite that kind of bring me towards like neutral. But overall, I'd say it's good. I I I like it. I think the voice acting and main characters, which are very important, definitely carried and added to the vibe of the show. Um, so I would definitely recommend it and give it a 70 for just being good. But
Then
that is it.
that is it. This was episode 10.
This was episode 10. Wow, okay. Uh I guess we didn't mention it during the episode, but it's kind of a special episode, I guess, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of the first big thing, episode 10. Woo.
First hurdle.
Yeah, well, we didn't do anything special for episode 10, but this was episode 10. So,
Hey, we always have 15
always have 15 or
for
20
our
or
15th
25.
anniversary, or 25 or 30 or 40 or a million.
A million. Yeah, well, let's see where this goes. As always, we're happy about show recommendations, even though nobody ever wrote something till now.
Yeah.
But we'd still take recommendations for shows
Yeah,
you want us to talk about or to bash or whatever.
if you're that one person who's listened fully, then please, write a comment, anything. Like give us a recommendation and we will try to go with it. But as always, we appreciate anyone who listened or, gave us any feedback or likes or clicks or something. But as always, thank you.
Thank you. See you in a fortnight. Bye bye.
See you in Fortnite. Goodbye.